Things to never say. There's my alternative entry.
There's Dom's
Welcome to
alternative entry. Welcome to Gregorian Chat.
Don't look that up.
Don't look it up.
Welcome to the podcast. It's good. It's good to have you here. Thanks for clicking this video, and thank you for watching it. We really do appreciate it.
With the sound on.
I mean, we had a podcast last week. We were doing a free tea giveaway. It turns out that no one actually shared the podcast except me.
Yeah, I think I don't
we're giving the tea to no. We're going to do it again. So,
roll over.
This is free tea, guys. This stuff ain't cheap. So, the first person to
share
and comment with their thoughts on the topic of today's podcast will win themselves some Aussie Wattle breakfast tea.
Yeah, you need to put the comments on there.
That's right.
And tag a whole bunch of people and you think it'd be interested.
But what are we talking about? Oh,
I'll tell you what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The title is Do Nothing, Go to Heaven. There we are.
Nailed it.
Unrehearsed.
Do nothing, go to heaven. It's majorly clickbait. Okay?
Yeah.
But there is an element of truth.
To it.
Well,
but you know what? Before we do that, let's do a little bit of nothing. What have we got to drink?
Today is a crazy it's a tea. I have to get the packet because I forgot what it's called.
But it used to be a limited edition tea.
That's right.
But it was so good, everybody wanted it. And
it's called Chili Berry Boom.
Chili Berry?
It actually looks a bit like
Poom?
Chili Berry Poom.
Well, that's Jess at the T2 stuff, are you?
Oh, I thought you were going to start talking about your wife, Jess.
No. She's got immaculate handwriting.
Yeah?
Yes.
She's not even Chilean either.
No. Anyway, Chili Berry Boom.
Chili Berry Boom.
It smells very fruity.
Yep. Oh, it's pink.
Apparently, it's both a sniffer and a sipper, but will be determined.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite dark.
Nothing like a good old sipper.
Ooh.
Hey, Dom, have you been up to much lately?
Have I been up to much?
What have you been busy with?
I'll tell you what I've been busy with. This Sunday, ACTC at Newman Hall are running a retreat from 12:30 till 7, leading straight into tertiary mass at the cathedral. And I've been writing a session on how to waste time wisely, which is kind of the impetus for this podcast.
That's right. Not even kind of, just...
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't be running my exact session, so no spoilers.
Ooh.
Is it good?
It's good. It smells like bubblegum, but on the tongue it's more like a... I don't know what I would call it, cranberry? Cran tea?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Cran man's getting into everything.
Or maybe even blackberry.
Yes, actually, yeah. I'd say so.
Well, it's called Berry Boom, right? Chili Berry Boom.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have had it cold, because it's Chili Berry Boom.
Maybe.
But anyway.
This guy.
So we're going to be talking about how doing nothing will get you into heaven.
Yeah, because it will.
Yes. Essentially.
But yeah, I mean, you might have clicked on this because you thought it was going to be a podcast about, works or grace. But neither of those people are going to be here today. So
No.
But yeah, so talking about kind of like how is it that that doing nothing is kind of good for us?
Yes.
Talking a bit about hobbies and how we generally kind of suck at them as Kiwis, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not Kiwi, so obviously I don't.
Well, you are now.
Well, yeah, I'm resident.
Yeah. So, resident Kiwi. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think. I mean, not to waste any more time here. So basically, I often thought when I was in the States, I spent a year in the United States. I was really amazed quite often of how a lot of the men who were there, especially not just men but the women as well, would spend a lot of time pursuing their hobbies. So I'm not just talking about like origami. I'm talking like, I guess, manly things are what really attracted me to and made me realize this. So like hunting, fishing, sports, music, all these kinds of things. And what I observed in the States was that people pursue these hobbies a lot more than we do here in New Zealand. And I think it especially struck me because you have like married men with 5 kids and they'd be like, I guess a lot of the time you expect them to then like have no hobbies because they have 5 children and they have to just be a dad.
That would make sense.
I was really amazed that these men were managing to have such awesome hobbies in the sense that when I look at them, I want to be like them.
Oh wow!
And I kind of think there's something in that. So like,
yes,
not that there's something in the fact that they have hobbies that makes the rest of their life really attractive and kind of seem very well balanced. And so I think when I looked at that, I observed there's got to be something more going on here.
Well, and I think that there is a real big truth in that, and I think there's a kind of incorrectness about how we look at the idea of leisure nowadays.
Leisure, yes,
Leisure. It's spelled weird. Anyway, so the way we view leisure nowadays is very much the culture of Netflix and chill. I go home, I turn on Netflix, and I do nothing because I've been working all day, and this is how I spend my leisure time.
But I mean, the connotations with Netflix and chill was not exactly doing nothing, right? Yeah. It's more like...
I'm talking about a Catholic Netflix and chill.
Okay. So like... it's like catechism and chill?
you can only Netflix and chill in marriage. Anyway, but there's often this idea, especially like with like Facebook culture, of like, okay, I'm gonna go and like spend time away from work, and I'll just go on Facebook and you scroll, or Instagram, or 9gag.
Honestly, you scroll more than the prophets.
Where you go, the Dead Sea Scrolls have nothing on us. So you're just scrolling through these things, and then, like, at the end of it, what have you achieved? Nothing. Have you learned anything more about yourself? No. And I mean, that's not to say leisure has to have an end in itself necessarily, but it is about, like you saw in these guys, it's about finding out something more of ourselves. And so having a hobby is a really good thing because it's keeping you active, yet taking you away from like something you have to do. So you're not earning money through this. Yeah. You're not necessarily improving a skill that you can use every day, or even something that's quantifiable.
I mean, occasionally hobbies, which is the French word for hobbit, by the way, the French way of saying it. Hobbies, sometimes they can actually be. It's like work at the same time. For instance, when I play a gig, like it doesn't feel like work for me, even though if I play a proper gig, I'll get paid. Per hour, and so. I mean, that's kind of like the jackpot I find. So, like, is when you basically it feels like you're just doing your hobbies and you get paid for it. And it's the ultimate job. So, in general, it's not for money.
So essentially, what a hobby truly is it's an extension of yourself. It's something that you would do anyway. Like say, if you were getting paid for it or not. I mean, imagine you had to go through a lot of unpaid gigs before you got to a point where someone says, "You know what? I'm going to give you some money if you play for us." It's like, now I'm straight into paid gigs. I'm that good.
Well,
I never get a paid gig. All my gigs are unpaid.
Well, there you have it.
Anyway, so an extension of yourself. And so, for example, I was talking to Dom earlier saying, like, I really enjoy rock climbing. So for leisure, I might go rock climbing. Or like get a bunch of us and go rock climbing because I enjoy it.
Go get stuck up a wall.
Yeah. But whereas...
That's what I think of rock climbing. It's like, hey guys, why don't we go to the country, find a huge, terrible rock face and like climb up it and just get stuck, and then if we can't, we'll just come back down,
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. And I really enjoy doing that. And whereas Dom doesn't. So for leisure, Dom would not go rock climbing.
It doesn't do anything for me.
So it's not something that he's going to spend time doing. However, for me, I don't know. It's the physical fitness. It's the challenge. It's the getting outdoors or indoors if you're doing indoor rock climbing, and it's seeing, especially indoor rock climbing, because there's like different routes you can take and different challenges within that. And there's something I just really enjoy about it.
So you would say that rock climbing is kind of like uprooting?
Well, it's
going out and you're taking different routes.
Yeah.
Hey. But so you're right. Like so one person's leisure is not necessarily one man's leisure is not another man's leisure.
Yeah. One man's leisure is another man's pain.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's something that's an extension of ourselves. Some people, and like this is often expressed quite obviously in the arts. So like Dom's a musician, and every piece of art is an expression of the person that did that. Even if it's a bad piece of art, we can learn something of the artist. And so like painting, drawing, music, all the dance, all these expressions. It's like, oh well, then I'll have to do one of these things because that's an expression. That's an expressive thing. But if you're not good at it and you don't enjoy learning an instrument or something, then don't do it. I mean, for someone's art, maybe running. I mean, personally, running's not my thing. The only reason I'll run is if I'm late to get somewhere. I wouldn't say let's go for a run
or run down. Yeah, but so you're right. So I guess it all depends on. It's not just like on what you like to do, but there's more to it than that. It's more what is actually bringing you joy. And so this is the point where we actually start to get towards the clickbait title of saying, okay, how does pursuing your hobbies get you into heaven? Right. Well, it doesn't really. Like it's not a formula. Yes. Pursue your hobbies and get into heaven. But it basically sets us up for a lifestyle which may help to do that. Yes. I guess it's probably the best way of saying that.
That's true, because there's that piece of scripture from Thessalonians. It's rejoice always, pray constantly, for that is the will of our Lord Jesus Christ for us. And so when we think of prayer, we often think, right, get in the chapel, get on your knees, maybe do a rosary or silent adoration, maybe mass, and then that's our prayer. And whereas those things are true and they're very good, and if you do them, fantastic, but if it's something like, personally, silence is very difficult for me. So if it's like the only way to pray is doing things that are like repetitive and silent, then I'm never going to pray. However, we need to bring ourselves to a point where we're ready to pray. And I feel like you often see this in praise and worship. There's like praise and worship. It starts off with a bang, often with like a praise song, and it leads you down to this somber kind of quiet worship song, and maybe even then to silence. Yeah. And so we've been doing the praise, we've been doing the rejoicing, and we're praying, and then we come to a silence, and then that's the still small voice we hear in the Book of Kings.
Here's a question: if in praise we're rejoicing, what is joicing? We've already done some joicing, and then we get to praise, and we're like, let's rejoice.
And if you've done too much, do you dejoice?
Is that what worship is? Dejoicing?
Dejoicing. Rejoicing. Joicing.
You can steal that if you want.
Yeah, you can
Probably
use that.
Don't.
Next podcast, dejoicing.
But yeah, this idea of like doing nothing, and it's actually kind of good for us. Yeah. Especially considering that our lives are so often, as students and people working, full of so many things that we do. And I think for me personally, I've been setting goals more recently, trying to get myself to pursue more and achieve more. Yes. Which is a good thing, but it's also one of those things that you have to take the time to set aside time to do nothing. Yes. And my granddad used to have a sign in his garage, which I always thought was funny, kind of related to this. So it's saying, "He who drinks gets drunk. He who gets drunk goes to sleep. He who goes to sleep does not sin. He who does not sin goes to heaven. So let's all drink and go to heaven." That's it. That's what it's all about. If that ain't the most Catholic thing you've ever heard, no, I'm kidding. But I think he was drunk most of the time. That's the kind of thing.
So don't get drunk. That won't necessarily lead you to heaven. In fact, I'm pretty sure it won't. But anyway,
that's another podcast. Yes,
drinking and not going to heaven. Anyway, but so it's that doing nothing. When we say nothing, we mean by in the world today, as well as it seems the options are you can either work or you can do absolutely nothing. And so what we're saying is actively doing nothing is what we're calling it to, but it's a case of for example, John Paul II, our late Pope and great saint, he often snuck out of the Vatican to go skiing. He had to, it's like a retreat, going away from the craziness of every day to reconnect with something that brings you a joy that informs the rest of your life. Yeah. So an exhilaration you get from going skiing, maybe me going rock climbing, maybe Dom playing a really good song, or football. Yeah, I mean that's just as good as a hobby. It's all that informs the rest of your day, the rest of your life, the rest of your week, just as much as, in a sense, prayer does. However, prayer is a direct connection with our Lord, whereas our hobbies can be something which, in the same way that a praise song brings you to a worship, you know, our hobbies bring us to a point where we're ready to pray.
And I guess they just help us to keep well-rounded as well. And going back to what I was saying before about, you know, how Kiwis, we just aren't generally very good at pursuing hobbies. And I think, I don't know really what it is. I think maybe partly it's to do with how we have a bit of a tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand. And we feel like we don't really want to put ourselves out there too much. Because, you know, often what happens with hobbies is that you pursue something you like doing, and you might be really bad at it, but you love doing it. Yes. You know, like photography or whatever.
Was that a dig?
Hey?
Was that a dig?
Wait, what? Not at all. But then you keep pursuing it and you get to your point, you know, where like it's still no good, but people like your photos on Facebook. No,
that's what I'm talking about. That's the point where I'm at.
I'm joking. But actually I've used quite a few of your photos for, like, you know, profile pictures and things, so kudos.
You're welcome.
And so anyway, so hobbies, right? And we pursue them, we start getting good at them, and then I've lost my train of thought now. And so if we get too good at them, you know, then it's like, well, people start to recognise us. And I think in New Zealand, like I was saying with tall poppy syndrome, if you're putting yourself out there, a lot of people might be like, oh man, look at this, he's trying way too hard to like put himself out there and be recognised. You know, you should only be recognised genuinely by people who come out of nowhere and tell you you're awesome. You know, but it's like, well, no, like anything that is going to be good, or any true art needs to go through a process of perfection, right? And it's arrogant, I guess, to assume that you can get there by not practicing.
Yes.
Even people you would think were naturally good athletes have to practice. They have to hone their skills.
Yeah, and I think there is the truth there. It's like you might have a natural inclination to run or even pick up music. You know, you naturally have a good ear for music, so that's the start of it. Yeah. Just as like attraction is the start of any good relationship. Yeah. However, it's something you need to work on, and I think that's something you do see in England a lot. I remember there was this guy who was exceptionally good at beatboxing, and then everyone's like, "Wow, he's a beatboxer," and then everyone starts saying, "Yeah, but he's really sad." And I'm like, why? It's like, because he obviously sits at home on his own beatboxing. What a weirdo. And it's like, from what, like, the reason I brought that up is kind of like, if what you're doing is for the praise of others, it's not leisure, it's work. You're trying to prove yourself to someone that doesn't matter. Leisure has to be something that you do for you. So if beatboxing is your jam, and you watch heaps of YouTube videos, you improve and you become an amazing beatboxer, it's something that you do to relax, it's something that you do to reconnect with yourself.
I mean, you may not have any friends as a result.
Well, yeah, there's that. And like, you know, it could lead to have no friends, it could lead to having heaps of friends, but the important thing is that you're connecting with something that God's given you, an interest, a desire of your heart. And it could be something as crazy as beatboxing or running or art, you know.
And here's something I think is completely true. I always tell this to people, especially if you're
not part of the problem.
If you're single and you kind of think, oh, no one wants to be with me, well, think a bit about this. You may think this sounds silly, but think a bit about like how much do you pursue hobbies and how much are they part of your lifestyle, in the sense that when people meet you, do you come across as somebody who has, you know, passions, you're passionate about things, and you're not just that, but you actually pursue your passions and you want to perfect them. You want to like have a full and rich lifestyle, because I think it's so true that it's like when people want to be with people who are, you know, happy with their life, right? Yeah. And people who have a full and kind of wholesome life. So kind of put two and two together. I'm not saying if you get hobbies you'll get a husband or wife,
but you might
just be with someone for the rest of your life. We're running out of time to finish this podcast, and I really hope it's not going to be the last.
Well, it's a good cup of tea, and remember, pursue your hobbies.
Come to our weekend session.
Come to our weekend retreat session.
Sunday.
12:30, Newman Hall. You don't have to go to Mass in the morning because we're going to Mass in the evening.
That's right.
This tea was delicious.
It was. Get yourself some chili boom boom. Chili berry boom. That's all for today. We'll see you next week.
God bless. Chili boom boom. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Make sure that you check us out on our YouTube channel, Auckland Catholic Tertiary Chaplaincy.
You can also find us on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Chaplains.
And our Instagram account, which is Auckland Catholic Chaplaincy.
We're also now on iTunes. Just search up Gregorian Chat.
Boom.
That's right.
Thanks for listening.
God bless.